that mini-map that that first DT has finally been killed, so that economic harassment will stop, but he has done a lot of damage right now. I think enough damage to really sort of make up for the cost, you know, incurred by going for those quick DTs. I don't see a robotics facility yet, so I don't know if he's going to be transitioning into Reavers, or if he's just going to get some Archons immediately, or if he's just going to try to mass Dragoons while he sets up his natural expansion. Both players putting down a natural expansion right now. So they are going to be pretty much tied up economically. You know, if since Horang2 wasn't able to completely capitalize and finish out the game immediately, you know, and both of these natural expansions are being set up at about the same time, this this matchup is going to sort of even out in terms of economy. You know, Horang2's hanging on to the last bit of economic advantage that he was able to get, although he is definitely behind on tech. It looks like instead of putting down any extra gateways alongside his natural expansion, GuemChi has just been going for tech, so he has put down a Citadel of Adun and a Templar Archives now. High Templar have started to be produced by Horang2, so at least going for some High Templar to help out his Dragoons right away. I'm not sure if a robotics support bay has been built by GuemChi, but that might be another option for him to start pounding down that front door. I think Reavers are particularly good on this map just because of that that wide bridge that I like to talk about. You know, Reavers not quite as effective as attacking over that bridge into the natural expansion, but they still can outrange a lot of static defenses and do a lot of damage to Dragoons that have a terrible time crossing bridges and going up ramps. Dragoons, just the stupidest units in all of StarCraft. And you know what it is I think that at some point at Blizzard, you know, they invented the Dragoon, and they started programming it and putting it in, and some guy from the design team was like, hey, these Dragoons, they should walk more like crabs. And they sent some programmer and they were like, hey, make them walk more like crabs. And just that small bit of code to make them walk the way they do, like, totally just screwed up their navigation, because they run into each other all the time and don't know how to walk up bridges or ramps or anything. I think it's pretty funny. Anyways, off of that tangent, it looks like GuemChi has put down a ton of extra gateways now. I think 4 more gateways going up for him. And a second forge, I think that was, going down for Horang2, so it looks like he's going to be trying to win the upgrade battle going into the mid-game here. And he has put down his robotic support bay. He's got some observers of his own on the way. I'm not sure if he will be going into Reavers or not as well, but one forge spinning, a second forge hanging out, waiting to spin. I don't know if he's going to be upgrading it quite yet, and it looks like that Protoss High Templar from Horang2 able to snipe down that observer that was lingering in his base from the very beginning of the match with a nice ionic storm, which gives us 2 bits of information. One is that, you know, GuemChi is now at a loss for scouting information for a second, but second, that Horang2 has psionic storm research. So far I've only seen the one Templar, but you know, second one could be produced pretty quickly. Yeah, 7 gateways there from GuemChi. He is ready to produce. Horang2 is trying to catch up. He is putting down his 5th, 6th, and 7th gateway right now, but for at least a couple of seconds here, GuemChi can build up a huge army, and if he's able to time his attack right, might be able to do a lot of damage. But still, at the present, both players are pretty content to just build up an army and sort of wait for a later game. GuemChi putting down a second expansion, and it looks like Horang2 is situating himself to do the same thing, but GuemChi is all over this. He has an observer at that extra expansion, and he was thinking about at least going into it, but it looks like right now on the minimap that he is going to be retreating a little bit, or maybe just coming in from a different angle. It's generally good for well, for any high-level StarCraft players to, you know, keep their troops moving a little bit unless they're specifically trying to defend something, just to get them a little bit of more scouting information and just so that their opponent isn't scouting them and setting up some sort of trap for them right next to them. And it looks like GuemChi is finally going to try to push down and stop this this second expansion, third base from going up for Horang2. He has got a large force and pretty well balanced between Dragoon Zealots and a couple of Archons, a couple of High Templars in the mix too. I don't know, yeah, it looks like at least one, oh no, at least one High Templar was up there for Horang2, but it goes down with that first Psionic Storm. Very nice storm placement by GuemChi, and Horang2 maybe just not paying attention for a second, wasn't able to react in time. Plus that High Templar was a little bit surrounded by those stupid Dragoons, so I don't know if he was able to run as quickly as he would like to, and GuemChi is pushing that production advantage that he's built up by building all those gateways very quickly. Horang2, now that he has his gateways up and is setting up that third expansion, he should be able to produce just as quickly, and actually he might even be in a little bit of a production lead right now because he has put down, it looks like almost a dozen gateways by now. I didn't quite count that out while they were counting it, but that is a lot of gateways, and if he's got his third base running, he's going to be able to pump just a ton of Dragoons out of those. He still doesn't have all that many tech units to defend against this. A couple of Templar, it looks like, right there, hanging out of the natural expansion. 2 upgrades have finished right there for Horang2, so he's probably in a little bit of an upgraded advantage right now. Storms going down on both sides across that bridge, and I don't think either player is really going to make any headway quite yet. Horang2 has a good number of defenses right on that bridge, and if he's able to keep those Templar away so that they can't storm his units, he will be in pretty good position. It looks like GuemChi is thinking better of that attack and moving aside, but he is likely going to that third expansion to try to take that down once again. Maybe he's just going to regroup and try to push that front door again. Horang2 is leaving, which I'm a little bit worried about because he is, you know, exposing that bridge, and that bridge is a pretty defensible position if you can storm on top of it. I think he's putting himself a little bit in the background, a little bit in a disadvantage right here. A lot of storms going down on both sides. It's hard to tell exactly who's in the lead right now. Although no, it looks like Horang2 is going to be able to take this battle with his Archon that just finished morphing in right before he sent it out, and a couple of extra Zealots, I think. So, using a slightly higher zealot composition of his army, was able to take out the slightly more dragoon-heavy army that GuemChi had. Also, I think those extra gateways that Horang2 had put down helped him out in that battle. So far, only +1 attack for GuemChi, but 1/1 upgrades for Horang2. That's one ground weapons and 1 ground armor. So even that little bit of armor advantage is actually going to help him quite a bit. It looks like both players wandering around in the middle of the map. GuemChi has a pretty good scout on where